this Gatsby?
Do you know him?
War hero.
Mr. Gatsby doesn't exist.
Gatsby? What Gatsby?
Francis Scott Key Fitzgerald was a short story writer and novelist, considered one of the preeminent authors in the history of American literature, due almost entirely to the enormous posthumous success of his third book, The Great Gatsby. Perhaps the quintessential American novel, as well as a definitive social history of the Jet Age, The Great Gatsby, has become required reading for virtually every American high school student, and has had a transportive effect on generation after generation of readers. At the age of 24, the success of his first novel, The Side of Paradise, made Fitzgerald famous. 1 week later, he married the woman he loved and his muse, Zelda Sayard. However, by the end of 20s, Fitzgerald descended into drinking, and Zelda had a mental breakdown. Following the unsuccessful Tender is the Night, Fitzgerald moved to Hollywood and became a script writer. He died of heart attack in 1940 at the age of 44, his final novel only half completed. In the summer of 1922, Nick moved from the Midwest to New York after abandoning writing. He rents a small house in the North Shore village of West Egg next to the mansion of Gatsby, a mysterious business magnate who often holds extravagant parties. One day, while Nick has dinner with his cousin, Daisy Buchanan, and her husband, Tom, he is introduced to Jordan Baker by Daisy, who hopes to make a match between them. When Nick returns home, he sees Gatsby standing on the dock, reaching towards the green light coming from the Buchanan dock. Jordan tells Nick that Tom has a mistress who lives in the Valley of Ashes, an industrial dumping site between West Egg and the city. Nick and Tom visit the valley and stop at the garage owned by George Wilson and his wife, Myrtle, Tom's mistress. Later, Nick receives an invitation to one of Gatsby's parties. Upon arrival, Nick learns that he is the only one to receive an invitation, and none of the guests have ever met Gatsby. Nick encounters Jordan, and both meet Gatsby. Gatsby offers Nick to a ride into the town for lunch. On the way, Gatsby tells Nick he is an Oxford graduate and war hero from a wealthy Midwestern family. They go to a speakeasy, where Gatsby introduces Nick to his business partner, Meyer Wulsheim. Jordan tells Nick that Gatsby had a relationship with Daisy years ago and is still in love with her, and that Gatsby threw parties in the hopes that Daisy would attend. Gatsby asks Nick to invite Daisy to a tea. After an awkward reunion, Gatsby and Daisy begin an affair. Gatsby is dismayed when Daisy wants to run away with him and wants her to get a divorce. He asks Nick and Jordan to accompany him to the Buchanan home, where he and Daisy plan to tell Tom that Daisy is leaving him. During the luncheon, Tom becomes suspicious of Gatsby and Daisy, but Daisy stops Gatsby from revealing anything to Tom and suggests they all go to the Plaza Hotel. Tom drives Nick and Jordan in Gatsby's car, while Gatsby drives Tom in Tom's cars. Tom stops for a gas at George's garage, where George tells him that he and Myrtle are moving and that he suspects Myrtle is unfaithful. At the plaza, Gatsby tells Tom of his affair with Daisy. Tom accuses Gatsby of having never attended Oxford and having made his fortune through bottling with mobsters. Daisy says she loves Gatsby but cannot bring herself to say she never loved Tom. Eventually, both Gatsby and Daisy leave. After fighting with George over her infidelity, Myrtle runs into the street and is fatally struck by Gatsby's car after mistaking it for Tom's. After learning about Myrtle's death, Tom tells George that the car belongs to Gatsby and that he suspects Gatsby was Myrtle's lover. Nick deduces Daisy was the driver. Through Gatsby intends to take the blame. Nick overhears Daisy accepting Tom's promise to take care of everything, but he does not tell Gatsby. Gatsby admits to Nick that he was born penniless. His real name is James Getz, and he had asked Daisy to wait for him until he had made something of himself. The next day, Gatsby hears the phone ringing and thinks it's Daisy. Before he can answer it, he is shot and killed by George, who then commits suicide. Nick is the only person other than reporters to attend Gatsby's funeral, as Daisy and Tom are leaving New York. The media paints Gatsby as Myrtle's lover and killer. Disgusted with both the city and its inhabitants, Nick leaves after taking a final walk through Gatsby's deserted mansion and reflecting on Gatsby's ability to hope. In the sanatorium, Nick finishes typing his memoir, titling it The Great Gatsby. The Great Gatsby is a 2013 romance drama film based on Francis Scott Fitzgerald novel. The film was co-written and directed by Baz Luhrmann and stars Leonardo DiCaprio as the eponymous J. Gatsby, with Tobey Maguire, Carey Mulligan, Joel Edgerton, Isla Fisher, and Elizabeth Debicki. Production began in 2011 and took place in Australia with a $190 million budget. The two main differences between the book and the movie are that Nick, in the book, isn't writing the story in a sanitarium. In fact, in the book of Fitzgerald, it's never clear that the narrator, so Nick, is writing the book. The second difference is the relationship between Nick and the golfer Jordan Baker, which, in the movie, is totally absent. The film polarized critics, receiving both praise and criticism for its acting performances, soundtrack, visual style, and direction. Audiences responded more positively, and Fitzgerald's granddaughter praised the film, stating, "Scott would have been proud." As of 2017, it is Luhrmann's highest-grossing film, grossing over $353 million worldwide. At the 86 Academy Awards, the film won in both of its nominating categories, Best Production Design and Best Costume Design. I chose this novel because The Great Gatsby is my favorite movie, and I like the book too. What is interesting is that the movie is very similar to the book, and it reflects an historical period that I'm interested in. What I love of the movie is the choice of the cast, the soundtrack with songs of Lana Del Rey and Black Eyed Peas, and the visual style of the movie in general.